The Long Game is a very powerful movie about veterans, about community, about culture, about breaking the status quo. David versus Goliath here. But I'd like for you to kind of, maybe there's some stories that stand out to you, and or some you think should be made a motion picture or should be made a documentary. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Long Game was a fantastic movie. By the way, I mean, my good friend Javier Chapa is one of the producers on that film with Mucho Mas Media, and I got to say, everything that they are doing right now is just incredible. They have a movie right now coming out in May called Rosario, and it's a Latino horror film. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for what they're doing. I'm excited that they're telling stories that are inclusive of our culture, because you don't see that a lot. And The Long Game is no exception. Stories that I think should be told. Oh, Jeffrey, there's so many. There are so many, and they're slow, like they're coming out of the woodwork. So, one story that I really would love to see told is Freddie Fender's story. And I'm sure if you know Freddie Fender, he was a country western a star who's a Latino. He was also a veteran, and his story has yet to be told. I'm sure at some point it will be, but he's from San Benito, Texas. My father and my mother grew up in San Benito, Texas. My father knew his son, lent him a drum set. But he has such an impactful story. He has yet to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Now, he's in the Country Music Museum, right? He's in there, but he is not in the Hall of Fame. And at least I don't think he is. And if he is and things have changed, well, that's great. But his story is a powerful one. He went on to be a movie star as well. There's somebody else that you've had on your podcast that I think has a very interesting story, and his name, Danny Garcia. And I'm reading his book right now, and I think his story is a powerful, very powerful story. I mean, the guy is basically the Latino Forrest Gump. I mean, everything that he's done, walked around the world, 52 million steps, in the name of peace and in the name of children, for first responders and veterans. Everything that Danny's story is, those are the stories that need to be told. I'm reading his book right now, and I told him, I read the first part of it, and I said, Danny, you have gone through so much in your life, and I'm reading this book, and it's got me on the edge of my seat, and I'm thinking, I see where this is going, and I don't want it to go there, but I so desperately want it to go there, because that's an interesting story. Telling the truth in stories is important, right? We can dramatize things all we want, but stories, real people's stories, are dramatic enough, I think. Danny's story is no exception. Danny he's a great human being. And if you haven't read his book, Marines Don't Cry, I'd recommend it, because the things that Danny has gone through, you'll be wanting it you'll be wanting to see it on the big screen or on the small screen, if that's what you prefer.